David Key. Happy birthday. It was last week. I don't know anybody but you and Vicky who make a birthday go quite as well as long and last as well and celebrated well.
All
You
right,
guys are
Marsha, let's
awesome
go.
about that. All righty. Well, this morning, several of our leaders are in Scotland. Cindy and I chose not to go for whatever reasons, and so we're here to be with you today. It's rainy over there anyway, so who'd want to be over there? Um, Today I want to talk about something a little bit dear to my heart. Sometimes I'm more blunt than other people could be, but I think we need to get serious about what we're doing here with ASEA. We've got such great health opportunity that we all know about, that is great to share with people, but we also have a great opportunity to be creating a team and to be creating wealth. And I think we don't talk about that importance of that enough. I Due to my circumstances this year, it really hit home that ASEA is a great um, plan B if you want to. It's a great way to have a consistent, reoccurring income, even when things go crappy. And if it weren't for this opportunity, I can't imagine what I'd be doing right now. Probably be back substitute teaching school. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today um, and ask you some questions to think about a little bit of why are you doing ASEA? Why are you a part of this company? And what are your goals and what are your goals to share with some other people? Um, we have a team that one of the leaders this last week had 700 conversations with people. That's a little out of the ordinary, and I wouldn't expect that out of all of you if you don't want to do that. If you want to do it, that's great. They had some tremendous success as that was duplicated on down through that team. And a lot of people's lives are changed. They're going to be, they're on their way to some security for their families, no matter what is to happen, and for the families that they help out. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what we can do to decide, because first you need to decide. If you don't decide that you want to do something, then it might get done. It might just float down from the sky. But then decide what you're going to do about what you decide. We've all heard about the old network marketing things that, the rule of thirds, which is, if you talk to 12 people, then maybe four people will really listen, and out of them, maybe you'll get a customer and an associate. But how many of us really say, hey, I want to get that customer associate. I'm going to go hit 12 people, and not 12 people in 12 years. If you want to move the needle, it's got to be a little faster than that. Or there's 52 cards in a deck, and if you just turn over those 52 cards, then you're going to finally get to that ace of diamonds that's going to make you rich. Well, it doesn't always work that way if you spread it out and if you just think it's about what they're going to do. We need to keep in mind what we want to do, but what that's going to do for others. And we need to get a little focused about that. I'm going to share my screen here. Oh, host has to help me. Let me share my screen. And I'm going to talk about money a little bit. If that offends you, I'm sorry, but this is about money. This is a business. This is a job, even if you want to think of it that way. But if you don't organize your time, then it's really hard. Thanks, Cindy. To let's see if I got to the right one. What's going on here? Sorry, guys. Get this out of the way. That's not the screen I wanted. Oh boy. What's happening here? Sorry, guys. best laid plans, don't always work for the first time, but then you just try again. Oh, I got to get out of here before I can let me stop my share. That'll do it. Okay. Um, why is that doing that for me? Okay, here we go. Close that.
Marcia, while you're working on that, I just wanted
Yeah.
to, just one thought that you made. The people, the Tina that had the 700 conversations, they broke 6 diamonds, wasn't it?
8.
They broke 8 diamonds this week. So, I mean, once you the hardest phone call to make is the first phone call. And after that, you kind of get on a roll. And sometimes it's hard to stop because you've got so much momentum. And the key to this business is momentum. So that's why when Marcia was talking about, you can do it over 25 years or you can do it over 25 days, it's much more likely to reach your goal if you do it over 25 days as opposed to 25 years because you have momentum.
Yeah. And momentum is exciting. And a momentum doesn't have to be 700 calls in a week. Momentum can be 10 calls consistently, a day. Um, why can I not share now? Let's go on. Okay, there we go. I had to make it big again. Okay, look, I'm gonna start over here again. Come on. You're sharing your screen. I know I am. Oh, come on. I don't
You're
know.
sharing your desktop now. So stop if
Yeah,
you stop sharing and make sure what you want to share is open and then press share again, you'll be able to choose what you want to
I
share.
will try. Maybe I closed it. I thought I had it open, and I might have closed it when I was mussed up
Well, she's
just a
working on the
second.
technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Another thought is that there's some big things coming in January. And so the reason that we're talking about this right now is, I mean, you don't have to be a diamond in ASEA to make a huge difference in people's lives. And if you help create a bunch of Director 300s, you're making a tremendous impact right there. And you can really start to build an incredible foundation to your business. And that's really where this business is going to be focused come January. It's always kind of been focused there, but the focus is really going to be rewarded there come January. So we want to teach certain business practices that are going to be rewarded even more so financially come January when these new changes come. So go ahead, Marcia.
All right. I finally got the share up, correct?
Yes.
All right. First thing I want to talk about is money a little bit. And we hear a lot of times, you need 1.2 million in the bank to make 5,000 a month. Well, maybe you don't really care to make 5,000 a month. Maybe $500 a month would change your life. And some of us, a lot of us on here are getting to that age where you get to use Social Security, or you get to choose to start taking out of some of your retirement accounts. Um, or maybe you're younger and you haven't, you choose to not put that money in that retirement account. But if you had 100, I just wanted to set a base here. If you had $120,000 in the bank, that's what it would take to make 500 to get a payout at $500 a month. But the interesting thing is that's great, if you have that money and you want to take that out. But what if we were to make that $500 a month another way so that we didn't have to touch the 120,000? And the 120,000, if it was 100,000, I'm no mathematician, so I just went to Google. But 100,000 at 5% for 10 years would grow to be 162,000. 100,000 at 5% for 20 years is going to be approximately $165,000. So if you could leave that money in the bank and not be touching it to get your $500 a month, then you're going to be growing some money there that you could maybe use for something else later on down the years. I just wanted to point that out to start with, that, it's not just having the money in the bank, in the bank to start drawing from, but to keep it there so it can start growing once your investment is in there. So if we want to make $500 a month for you, or you want to teach people to do that to change their life, because $500 really can make a difference in the average family. They even say that $500 to $700 a month could keep keep a lot of marriages together. That's a huge thing. $500 a month is, groceries for the family that really knows how to budget. It's a lot of can really change how things come out at the end. So I wanted to think about, if you want to do that, if you are on here and you seriously are wanting to build a business right now, where are you getting the hours that you're going to build that business with? If you're going to take, say you want to commit to 15 hours a week, you only have that still same 24 hours that you have right now. So how are you going to find 15 hours a week? You need to sit down and look at your day. That would be 15 hours, would be 2 hours a day. What could you take out of your current day and put it into ASEA? And remember, putting time into ASEA doesn't mean you're sitting at your computer doing busy stuff. That's making conversations, getting out in the world, helping people out, volunteering places. That's part of your ASEA business, because you're making relationships, and this is a relationship building business. So I wanted to I thought, what do I have that would help people maybe look and see where their day is? And so I pulled up some different charts that I had tucked away. And the first thing I would recommend is where are you now? Where is your business now, that you figure out, and you put you in the middle, and then the people that you've personally sponsored, maybe up to 6 leaders that you've personally sponsored. And then you can fill in the names of the people that maybe they've sponsored. And the green ones are going to be for the ones that have even gone another level and who's there. So this you could think of as your I am here now chart. Where are you? Because if you don't know where you are today, how do you know where you want to go? So I would recommend filling this out, and I'll put all these charts in ASEA United today in this one little PowerPoint, so that you can just pull them off. You don't need to take pictures if you don't want to, or whatever. So figure out, where are you now? And then now there's several different charts out in the world that will help you to figure out, where are you spending your time and how much time are you spending there. And I wanted to introduce you to several different charts that are out there, because all of us function differently. One person's going to be, I need to put little hash marks down, and that really helps me out. Another person says, I just need to color in the day that I did something. So these are all charts that you could use to help you to track your business. You'll notice that this happens to be my favorite, so I put it first, has above the line and below the line. This blue line in the middle, above the line, are things that are paying activities. You're going to be paid for these activities, and you want to see them duplicate. Below the line are learning. You're learning to lead to action. But if you're spending more time here below the line than you are above the line, you need to be willing to not maybe make as much money as you could be, or touching as many people as you could be, because you can do calls like this. You can do calls, Terry's Motivation, Monday Motivational. You can do morning calls every day of the week. You can do Thursday night call with Alan Noble or the CFI. But if you don't have people on with you on some of those calls, they're all below the line activities. And below the line is really important, because we are all developing, but you also need to equal those out with above the line. So if I'm going to spend a half an hour on this call this morning, I need to equal it out with half an hour above the line activities. um, if I want to be making forward progress in my business that will show up on paper. Another chart you could use is a minutes to success. This one, um, you'll fill it out with how many minutes you're going to spend each day. Plan ahead of time. I was a teacher, and so I did a lot of figuring out where the minutes of the day. If I didn't figure out that I was going to spend 10 minutes on, you know, addition facts and then 5 minutes on practice, and I had to figure out what we were going to do for that 50-minute segment that we had there. And if I didn't have it planned out, then it could run away and I wouldn't be covering the areas I wanted. So it's good to figure it out. So when you fill it out, it might look something like this. And you say, you're going to do invitations for 10 minutes a day. You're going to do follow-ups and three-ways for 10 minutes a day. A webinar or conference call, choose the one that you really like to do the most. And even though there's really good ones out there, you got a limit. And then your weekly event that you like to go to, personal development, reading or audio, and then reading or watching, and demos and appointments. But if you have the number of minutes, planned out, then you can do it, schedule, and you can cross it off. You're going to do those 10 minutes every day of invitations. And it will really help to keep your business moving ahead consistently. And that's going to make a huge difference for you. Another one for some of you that like more color, more details, is the Freedom Action Board. It's another way. It's got your daily non-negotiables that you're going to do every day, maybe an important call or appointment. SMART goals, reminding you of your goals, is on there every day. Follow-up names, your affirmations. So it's got a lot of things. The monthly income goal thermometer. Boy, if you have a goal that you're trying to reach, I really am pictorial, and I like to get a whiteboard and draw a chart and who's going to fill in what, and that part would be good for me. But so this is another one you could use. And then if you just like us, you don't want to do all that technical, you can do a chart like this. It's got every day of the year, and every day that you do something to grow your ASEA business, you get to color that number: January 1, January 2. And you can start in September, or we're in October. You can start in October and work your way through and see how colorful you can make your chart by the end of the day. So that's another one you can do depending upon what works for you. But I really think if you find one of these charts that will help you to be accountable, that you're going to be pleased with what you see. A lot of people use this type of chart here too for exercise or whatever, any type of goal. And finally, unless someone like you carries an awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. And unless we work, and I'm talking to myself too, set a goal, decide what we want to do and decide what we're going to do about it, then somebody is going to miss out on hearing about ASEA, which would be a really bad bummer. So I wanted to share that with you today. Has anybody used any of these charts and used them effectively and would be willing to talk about your experiences with those? Well, it sounds like if nobody's using them, that maybe it's a good day to start.
So I use something similar. I'm actually teaching business builders tonight for our team, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So I took a bunch of things that I need to do for myself daily, like my little morning exercise, my reading, and then and then go into my follow-ups and all the other things that I want to make sure I do every day. So my ASEA tasks could be done in maybe 20 minutes if I didn't have all my other meetings and stuff. And I put all those things into ChatGPT and I asked them to make me a checklist. And it made a really nice checklist for me. So it was individualized for me. I was able to make some changes if I wanted to, and then I could print that or I could put it on my screensaver and just, if you laminate something, you could write with dry erase marker and erase it and start again every day. So that's what I do for myself because if I don't have it visually in front of me, I'm a goner.
That's a great tip. I love that. Get your own personalized one from GPT. That's great. I think we had somebody else that had their hand raised. Who was there?
Yeah, Christopher Phelan has his hand raised. Christopher, what do you use?
So I use a weekly tracker. I can't remember. I might have gotten it from Alan Noble or in that group, and I literally track everybody I talk to. I write it on my notebook, and then I transfer it once a week to this weekly sheet. So it's a way of getting out of the notebook an organized list of people that I've talked to and what the next steps are. And it really prevents me from losing track of the people that I've talked to and expressed an interest. And also, you also get to see who's responding and who's not, and then deciding on releasing those that aren't interested because they're not demonstrating behavior that they're interested, and then those that you stay with. And then I use an orange marker to indicate that interest and that there's follow-up.
That's great. That's great. So
That's awesome. And that definitely helps with follow-up, right? Because that's part of the problem. You initiate all this action and then you go, oh, shoot, who was I talking to again?
Yeah.
And Barbara Poulin has her hand raised also.
Good morning, everyone. I use Fraser's charts. He gave us a couple in one of the classes I took. And one of them is just tracking what you do each day with social media posts, new conversations that you start. So like when you friend people, you start that friendship that on Facebook or whatever with a conversation every single time, what it is you have in common or whatever. Invites that you send out, presentations that you share, follow-ups that you do, just asking the question, would you be interested, or do you know somebody else that's interested? And then we have a list also that we add new prospects to. So he wants to know how many new prospects we've put down. And with the prospect page, you have their name, you have their interest level, you have when your last touch point was with them, you put down the date for that, and what stage are you at with them, and then what your next step is that you want to do with them, and then just any personal notes to help you remember them. So that's what I use, and it has been incredible. So far this month, I met about 250, 300 people that I have started new conversations with. So I love the accountability. I think what you're talking about is really valuable.
What would be really neat is some of you that are sharing here with what you do is when we get this posted on Facebook, and I put mine on there, if you would comment and if you were willing to add your document in your comment, that would be maybe helpful for some of the people on here to see even some more things that they could be using.
Absolutely. And Elizabeth Edwards has her hand raised as well.
Thank you, guys. Hey, this is a great conversation and I really appreciate it. I started with using emojis in my phone, tracking who I'd already talked to with one kind of emoji, who I was planning on talking to with another, so I could easily search them in my contacts and find, oh, these are people I plan on talking to soon and haven't talked to soon. But that did not track, measure, or record any results. So after a couple of years of being fairly successful with that, I realized I need to do exactly what Marcia's talking about and started doing the measure, track, record, not to report to anybody, not to track anybody on my team, but just personally to know where I'm failing, where I'm successful, what the real numbers are. Am I producing anything? And many times I was not. So there are different kinds of being organized, and I was failing at this one, and I really appreciate it. I love that Alan Noble website where we have the training and the sheet for the measure, track, and record. So thanks.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Allen's sheet and those you know, some of these follow-ups that you guys are talking about are wonderful, wonderful tools to take what I'm talking about even a step further or to work in unison with, because the sheets that I'm talking about, the success and the, you know, above the line, below the line, they're going to be something that you can keep in a file or old school in a binder, and you can see the progress in your in areas of work that you're doing. And maybe like Elizabeth found out, oh, I gotta, you know, I gotta step it up in this other area, and then use the tools that some of you are bringing up here for daily use and follow-up, which are really great.
Yeah, and you might
Anybody
want
else
to
have
make a
any-
list of pre-qualifying questions, you know, asking people if they are looking for a side hustle or if they know anybody who's looking for a side hustle or for a way to make extra money. Because, you know, you think about, you know, there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't mind having a little extra money, but they don't want to go get another job. And, so how are they going to generate extra money without, giving a time commitment to somebody else, in another chunk of their day? I mean, they might want to go get another job. I mean, there's options, but if you think about what the other options are in order to generate some extra income outside of network marketing, I mean, the options are really limited if you want that time to be flexible. So I think that, and you might want to ask people specifically. I know Chuck Gates does this all the time. Do you know anybody who has built a network marketing organization that might be open to looking at what I have to offer? Because I'll tell you, people that have done network marketing before know other people that have done network marketing before. And I have a feeling that Tina, who broke the 8 diamonds this week by having all these conversations, um, I have a feeling some of these people, had done network marketing before, or at least were open to learning how to do network marketing. And if you're keeping it super simple and you're just practicing those daily behaviors that Marcia was talking about on those charts, you can see how it ripples and compounds and grows into not just you going out there talking to, having 700 conversations, but your people duplicating what you're doing. If they looking at what you're doing, going, oh, well, I can do that. And you mean doing that, I can generate this much income? We can now show people, pretty easily, and it's going to get even easier, how to generate specific amounts of money every single week if they are willing to do certain actions and have conversations and track it like Elizabeth was. Are the conversations you're having, are they producing results, or are they just keeping you social in the community? Is it a business conversation where, is it a respectful business conversation where somebody's given you permission to talk to them about something? Or is it just conversation being friendly with people out in your community? So, yeah. Anything else, Marcia, before we wrap it up this morning?
Yeah, I think it's time, 7:30 already. That was great. Really
Fantastic.
appreciate all your input. And again, you guys, if you have a form that you use, if you would share that on ASEA United, I think a lot of people would benefit from it.
And I'll forward it to ASEA United as soon as we get off the line. So have a great day, everybody.
All right. You guys have a great time.
Thank you.